The Lobos are on fire, rolling through the Mountain West Conference and right into a comfortable 5-seed ranking in the NCAA tournament, a.k.a. the Big Dance.
That's right, and the Aggies are also NCAA bound by winning the WAC tournament, positioning themselves as a 13-seed ranking in the tournament.
And of course, here to bring us up to speed on both of our champion teams is KRQE News 13 Sports Director Van Tate. Good morning.
Yay!
So glad to have you.
All?
We're great. I love sports talk in the morning.
Last time I was here, you guys were cooking up a storm. It was the Super Bowl.
It was Super Bowl day. It was the Man Cave show.
That's right.
I was trying to wait till the end of it because I saw all the food.
well, today you got the girls involved too.
Okay.
Now, the girls like hoops too, so let's start with the Lobos. They seem to have all the pieces to go deep into the tournament. What were the main ingredients that got them this far?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say 2 Ds, defense and depth. You know, the Lobos' defense has been excellent this year when they're focused. You know, they can beat anybody in front of them when they're focused, and their defense is just stellar. And depth, as far as the players on the team, they can go 10 deep, and that's the one thing that wears the other teams out. You got another 5 guys to come in, and they're just as good as the 5 guys who came off the floor. So that's hard to counter.
That's a big, and that's a big deal. And I want to go back to the Aggies for a second, because in 2007, the Aggies actually lost Coach Reggie Theus, and everybody expected a difficult transition. But then Coach Marvin Menzies jumped in, and so then he maintained that momentum to just get them to the tournament.
Well, you know, people forget Menzies comes from Rick Pitino's group. You know, he's got those kind of bloodlines as far as from basketball, and so the guy knows what he's doing, and he also knows how to bring players here that are good players, and you've seen that happen. You know, as far as this team, they have a lot of size, and they have that toughness. They're a tough team too.
So. Athletic.
So would you say that the size and the toughness, that's like probably the key pieces that
for the Aggies?
For the Aggies,
and the mental strength too, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, toughness. You look at a guy like Wendell McKinnis out of Oakland. You know, Wendell McKinnis is a tough guy.
You gotta be tough in Oakland.
He's from Oaktown, so you know, the man knows how to bring it on the floor. And their size, they're intimidating because of their size. They don't have just big guys. They got big guys who can run the floor and guys who can knock you out of the way. So
So what do you think the Aggies need to do to pull out a win over the number 4 seed Indiana Hoosiers?
Keep doing what they've been doing. One key thing for them, though, they need to make their shots. Now, sometimes, well, you know, they get into games where they don't make their shots. I remember when they were playing Nevada, at Nevada, they could have actually won that game had they made some of their shots, because they missed a lot of shots. They did a lot of things on defense where they took the ball. They did a whole lot of good things, but they missed a lot of shots. So they need to make shots, and they need to do what they always do, pressure and use their size, because Indiana this year has had problems with that.
They're injured right now. They're big guys.
Yeah, they lost one of their guards, Verdell Jones III, who's out for the season and just suffered a knee injury. So that's going to hurt them, and they got to play around that. And they haven't played well on the road. They played great at home. Indiana's been unbeatable at home. But on the road, and this is a road game, even though it's on a neutral site. So
but it is. Well, okay, so for the Lobos, how much does Steve Alford's experience play into leading and advancing the Lobos into the, you know, the top of the tournament?
Because he's been there. He's been there. He won a national championship. You're talking about a man who's won a national championship, a man who's won a gold medal with the Olympics.
It's huge,
a guy who's also he's been in the NBA. You know, he knows what it takes. I mean, if he keeps showing up and he's at the championship, he obviously knows what he's doing.
He's been there before.
You know what I mean? So
you know, should we be concerned about that little setback? You know, the Lobos had a huge win against UNLV, and then there was that little setback after that. Yeah, a little hiccup.
Well, I don't
Do you think that could happen again?
Well, you know what? If it was during the regular season, I would say, yeah, it could happen again, because that's what happened last time. The same pattern. They beat UNLV and they beat San Diego State. They got ranked and they got beat. It's the same thing here, but only this time you're one and done.
Right.
So I think there's going to be a lot more focus. I don't think there's going to be like guys just coming out there going through the motions and forgetting to guard, because when you guard, you win. So I think it's going to be different this time around.
Good. Now, what about this? Now, can this be an advantage to high altitude? You know, it's a lot tougher when people come here, but does it help them out, the Aggies, Lobos, when they go out and they get to play at sea level?
Could be. It all depends, though, because you know, guys are running on adrenaline. You know, this is an NCAA tournament.
They're all in great shape right now.
You're one and done. So you got no one's thinking about altitude. No one's thinking about all that stuff. They're just thinking like, hey man, if I lose, I'm out.
Right.
So everybody's going to get their best shot. And Long Beach State, you know, that game, that the Lobos are playing, that's not an easy opponent. You know, they're going to be tough.
Yeah, everyone's showing up.
They have Casper
ready to play. That's right, they do.
Yeah, I just remember, you know, like hearing that name, man. It's pretty funny. You know, the friendly guard, the senior guard.
Friendly to me. Well, I have a two-part question. What are the strengths and weaknesses of the Lobos and also the Aggies?
Yeah.
Strengths and weaknesses of the Lobos. Lobos' strengths is their bench. Like I mentioned earlier, they can go deep on their bench. They also shoot the ball well. When they shoot the ball well, when they start the game shooting the ball well, they finish the game shooting the ball well usually. And when they need free throws, you know, they have times when they're not making their free throws, but when they need them, they seem to hit them.
Yeah.
So that's a strength. Weaknesses, focus, sometimes lack of focus, and that's going to be the main thing for them. But the Aggies, their strength, of course, is their size. And their ability to put pressure on teams, which we keep talking about, is their toughness. Because, you know, you can't make anything to counter that. Toughness is toughness. And the only thing that counters that is toughness. So you can't bring anything else to counter that, is what I mean. And so those are the two things that are their main strengths. And when Hearns LaRoche, when he's playing well, the Aggies are that much better. And so a weakness is going to be if they do anything as far as take their eye off the ball, so to speak, and miss shots. When they miss shots, that's their one weakness, is when they have those games when they start missing shots and they just miss them over and over and over again. That just doesn't help.
No.
Right.
So.
Well, what does getting into the NCAA tournament in general just do for recruiting?
For recruiting, it helps out a lot because, first of all, it's visibility. People get to see New Mexico, and they see two teams now, New Mexico and New Mexico State. As a matter of fact, in Illinois, they were joking on the radio like New Mexico got two teams and we can't even get one team in.
It's nice to hear that for a change. I like that.
And so that gives New Mexico visibility and let those programs be highlighted on a national stage. So
that's great.
Well, I'm going to get it out there. I like the Lobos in the tournament. I think they're the team to watch out for. The Aggies as well. In your expert opinion, what are other teams to look for that might be the dark horse?
Other teams, I'm going to have to go family. I'm going to have to go with Vanderbilt. Got cousin Jeff Taylor playing, so got to go Vandy on that one. Also, I'll say Vanderbilt, and let's see, I'll say St. Louis too, because Rick Majerus is coaching St. Louis, and when Rick Majerus is in the tournament, he usually fares well. You know, no matter how far he's going, he's that guy. He's been to the national game, the championship game before against Kentucky back in the day when Keith Van Horn and Michael Doliak and those guys were playing. So I'm going to say St. Louis also.
Okay.
As I'm looking at this bracket here.
Well, speaking of brackets, we're going to get back to that in a moment because we are going to be talking about bracketology on our next segment. But I want to make a programming note for everybody. The Lobos play Thursday at 2:10 Mountain Time on TBS. The Aggies also play Thursday. Tip-off is at 7:45, and that game will air on KRQE.
Yeah, TBS decided they wanted the West region, and so they took their Lobos. And we're just like, hey, man, come on. You know what I'm saying? This is KRQE. You know,
I know, it's our team, but at least everybody around the country can watch. That's nice.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, we're going to be back with Van Tate, who's on every night, weeknights here at 9 p.m. right here on Tucasa Fox and on our sister station, KRQE, also each evening. So make sure you catch him, and we're going to be talking with him again. We're not done yet. Van's back after the break with a lesson in Bracketology 101.
Yay!
Stick around.
Okay.